What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 9 Team Builder for NCL Season 9. We are taking on Zayne and the St. Louis Cardinals. His team consists of Victini, Tapu Bulu, Silvally, Vaporeon, Copperajah, Jolteon, Megapidgeot, Gengar, Guzzlord, Mamoswine, and Conkeldurr. His priority options are the Mamoswine with Ice Shard and Conkeldurr with Mach Punch. Hazard setting, he's got the Copperajah with the Stealth Rocks and Mamoswine with Stealth Rocks. Removal options, it's the Silvally with Defog, Megapidgeot with Defog, and Conkeldurr with Defog. And 4 times weaknesses is the Tapu Bulu to Poison and Guzzlord to Fairy. Not a ton of exploitable things here. He's got a very fast, offensive team. That's most of what this team is. There's a decent defensive backbone going on there, with some mons with just overall decent bulk like Silvally and Victini, fatter mons like Vaporeon and Guzzlord, and more heavily HP invested mons like Copperajah, Conkeldurr, and Mamoswine. That doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to break, because all of those mons can hit back really hard as well. This is going to be a pretty tough one, I'm not going to lie. Zayne is, again, he's ahead of me in the standings. I am in second place and he's in first. So it's mostly about playing this as best as I can. I do have to admit, I probably didn't build as well for this as I would have liked to. I said a few weeks back I would want to build properly for every single match, but after we just got absolutely robbed by Revan last week, there's no question in my mind that I deserved that win, and RNG just stole it from me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go and watch my Week 8 match and realize that I lose this game because of pure hacks. Yeah, if I was 7-1 right now, I'd be sitting a lot more comfortable. I will say that. My last 4 opponents are no slouches, and I'm not as confident in my abilities after getting steamrolled by the Hacks Gods last week. So I'm also kind of toning down like my actual draft league play at the moment. A lot of leagues are ending. I'm down to 4 at this point, but 2 of them are in playoffs this week. So I might be down to 2, and one of them's completely inactive. So that by week 10 of NCL, I might only be in NCL, which is the first time since ever that I've only been in one league at once, just doing other things with my life at the moment. So, you know, we've had a good run up to this point. I would still love to win my own league, but this is not the matchup that's going to do it, if I'm being honest. I don't really know that I have any defensive answers proper to handle all of these threats. So I've kind of handled a few of them, and then a few of them I'm just going to have to make strategic sacks to as we go through the game. I tried to match more of the offensive flow of things rather than try and be a defensive flow of things, because my team isn't really built to be a defensive flow. It's built to have... It's built a lot like Zayne's team, actually, but I think that Zayne did a better job of getting breakers that break for each other. So you'll notice a lack of Garchomp. That has been fairly consistent this season, actually. You know, Garchomp has missed... This will be like the 5th game now. I think it's only come to 4 out of 9 games. So it really just hasn't been the cornerstone of this team. Genesect has been. And I've sort of been trying to fit pieces around Genesect all season rather than the Garchomp. Maybe that's just because I've used Garchomp so much. I'm sort of missing the point here, but I think anything on Zayne's team could come. He made a couple of drops last second after his Week 8 match, which was the transaction deadline, and he picked up Mamoswine for Glastrier. He dropped Glastrier for Mamoswine, and he dropped Manectric for Jolteon, which I think is just outright more difficult to handle. Mamoswine plus Bulu is a pretty horrendous combo. Was, I should say, a pretty horrendous combo before Mamoswine got high horsepower, and now it's a perfectly fine combo. There's some like bunched speed between the two of them, but outside of that, it's not really bunched anywhere. His higher speeds do tend to be the special attackers, and his slower speeds, tend to be the physical attackers. Silvally is surprisingly his kill leader this season, I think, or like Gengar plus Silvally, something along those lines. Silvally has a lot of kills, I know that much. So I can't like count Silvally out. I don't even know what it would be. Silvally Steel is my most likely guess. Out of types that he's missing, it's like Silvally Bug or Silvally Rock, but that's not normally how it would go. So I think it might be Silvally Steel or possibly Silvally Grass. Might not be a terrible idea with the Bulu. I could also see Silvally Fairy being a decent option for him here. So there's a few options that he could go with there for sure. If he wanted it to be like a Cinderace, I mean, Vaporeon is a Cinderace check, so he doesn't want it to be a Cinderace check. But anyways, I'm sort of like all over the place. I actually made a drop, and you see it in my third slot there. I dropped Aggron for Yanmega. I looked at my last matchups and saw that Aggron was pretty much doing nothing. There was one matchup where I thought Aggron might be okay, but I also think that Yanmega is like just as good in that matchup. And then the other three I looked at, and I was like, yeah, Yanmega is just like outright better than Aggron in these three. And Yanmega's like priced pretty low. 40-point Yanmega is low, and that's because of the usage tiers. So I can't like pass up on that. But Aggron I could draft again and not feel super guilty about it. So unfortunately, Aggron's only time to shine will be against Gry and the Peterborough Palpitoads way back in week two, where it missed a head smash and almost lost me that game. So let's start with Mimikyu here. I'm bringing Mimikyu, SD, Drain Punch, Player of Shadow Sneak. This is an interesting one. I'm not really using it as a cleaner. Yanmega is mostly going to be the cleaner for me this game. Mimikyu is kind of there to break in the mid game. It fits into a speed gap between Silvally and Victini, which I think is useful, because Victini and Gengar are both still weak to Shadow Sneak. And Jolteon does not want to take it. It's way too frail. So Mega Pidgeot is really the only thing faster than Mimikyu that can tank a Shadow Sneak, and that is potentially something that I can use to break my disguise and get a player off that's guaranteed to hit because of no guard, which could be very useful for me there. I have Drain Punch for the Copperajah, Guzzlord if I don't need... Excuse me, Guzzlord if I don't need the damage. Mamoswine if I want to heal off of it, and Silvally Steel potentially. It might be my best move against Silvally Steel. Or Silvally Normal if you want to go Silvally Normal, then Dream Punch is best for that. I am outrunning Silvally, and then I've got Max Attack. I'm Expert Belt to maximize my damage against things like Gengar or Victini. Should help me pick them off a little bit faster, alongside Conkeldurr. Should help me there, and then the Expert Built Drain Punches should just be enough damage for me to two-shot the things that I'm scared of, like Copperajah and Silvally. There is a likelihood I should definitely live Hurricane from from 88 if my disguise is not broken, but I do have to be +2 to kill the Pidgeot. I can't just kill it from neutral. Tangrowth, physically defensive, Tangrowth seems like the play this game. It is a Conk, Mamo, and Bulu answer. It can still check Mamo. I mean, I know I'm weak to Ice, right? But I can still check Mamo with it, preventatively. Victini is the biggest thing alongside Pidgeot and Gengar that will be able to deal with Tangrowth. It's still a decent Jolteon sponge, actually, and it's definitely a good physical Guzzlord sponge, but getting the Rocky Helmet chip off on the Bulu, I think, is the biggest thing. Excuse me, because Bulu is going to pick on Slowking, and I don't like that. Although, yeah, Victini is the biggest problem, and there's no questions about that. So I have Sludge Bomb here for the Bulu. It's my way to kill the Bulu in a 1v1. Knockoff for Victini switch-ins, for Gengar switch-ins, really just get rid of any item. And then Giga Drain, just for some recovery, and Leech Seed to get some recovery as well for some other mons if I really have to like Leech Seed something and switch out, or like Leech Seed Victini and it's like setting up or something. I don't know, but yeah, Yanmega is the cleaner of this game. Scarf Tinted Lens rather than any sort of speed boost set. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like Scarf Victini. Scarf Gengar is possible. Like, I don't know that either of them will really be Scarf, and it kind of just depends on how scared he is of Mega Gyarados. But he has to realize that I'm not going to have the coverage on Mega Gyarados to be able to beat his team at +1. Like, if I'm running a Dragonite's Mega Gyarados, I don't have 3 moves that can beat his team. So he shouldn't necessarily be scared of +1 Gyarados all that much, especially with the Conkeldurr in the back with Mach Punch. So I'm kind of banking on the fact that he's not going to bring a Scarfer, or at least not bring a Scarfer that's faster than Yanmega. I am running Bug Buzz, U-Turn, Air Slash, Giga Drain. U-Turn is the only physical move just to get momentum. Bug Buzz will just absolutely demolish this team. It's really not even close. Bug Buzz just slaughters most teams, but Tinted Lens means that it's going to just demolish the Copperajah. Silvally Steel does not appreciate it. Mega Pidgeot does not appreciate it either. Conkeldurr, I think, resists Bug. It's also not going to appreciate it, and Victini actually takes it neutrally, so it won't matter that much, but Bug Buzz is my strongest move, so it will be the move that I am clicking most of the time. Air Slash is there in a pinch. If I really need to like flinch something to death, I've got the Air Slash. I'm really just clicking Bug Buzz most of the time. And Giga Drain, if I really just need a nuke to take out the Vaporeon or the Mamoswine. Funnily enough, I told Zayne that I was not bringing on Mega because he had a Mamoswine. I actually don't care. I don't think Ice Shard kills me from full. It needs to be like boosting. And there's a possibility that he just runs Scarf Mamo anyways, right? So he might not even have the opportunity to run Shard. Cinderace, I'm running a more supportive Cinderace, although still offensive. Pyro Ball, High Jump Kick, U-Turn, and Court Change. I am relying a little bit on like Slowking Genesect to handle the Vaporeon this week, rather than run Electro Ball over Court Change, but I wanted to make sure that I don't have rocks on my side of the field when I'm bringing Scarfion Mega, which is going to take 49% with my HP investment. I can't afford to have his rocks on my side of the field. He doesn't have the best rockers. It's only Copperajah and Mamoswine, granted, but he still could set them up, and it would be too much of a problem. So I needed to have Court Change just in case I can get that off. Pyro Ball will break a lot of stuff. The main switch-ins that I see to Cinderace are the Victini, Vaporeon, potentially Silvally Fire, and Guzzlord. But High Jump Kick should handle any sort of Silvally Fire or Guzzlords. It'll handle Vaporeon to a point. Of course, Protect Vaporeon is always on my mind. And then U-Turn is just to get some momentum, but High Jump Kick is also there for something like a thick, fat Mamoswine. I do have to be wary about Gengar, of course, as well. I thought about running Sucker Punch over Court Change. It is a change that I might make over U-Turn, or maybe I drop High Jump Kick for Sucker Punch, and I just U-Turn on the Vaporeon. It's not a bad idea, actually. So I have something for the Gengar, and potentially have something for the Victini. It's not a terrible idea. I think I will actually drop HJK. I'll drop HJK for Sucker Punch. Just so we have something for those. And then I'm running enough speed on these. Oh, I forgot to mention it. I'm speed tying Silvally with Yanmega. Cinderace is running enough speed for Gengar. So I will outspeed Gengar, and I can Pyro Ball in the face if it's not Scarfed, or Sucker Punch it if it is. Genesect, I am running enough speed for Sylveon. I'm running Douse Drive. This is fairly common Genesect set for me, is Douse Drive for the defensive fires, because honestly, I don't really know what else handles Genesect in this game defensively besides Victini. There's pretty much nothing, actually. Genesect gets enough coverage that it can basically just hit everything. I'm not running T-Bolt, I'm running Flash Cannon instead for the Bulu. Maybe that's a mistake because I have Tangrowth. I should look at swapping Flash Cannon for T-Bolt, because Technoblast, Douse Technoblast will still hit the Mamoswine super effectively. So I'm running E-Speed for the faster things, mostly Pidgeot and Victini, and Jolteon, of course, but I can't hit the Gengar with it. U-Turn is there just for momentum. I think there's going to be something Spadef that comes in, and I can U-Turn, like get an attack boost to U-Turn on it. I want it to be like a mixed offensive set this week. But the question is whether running T-Bolt over Flash Cannon is worth it. T-Bolt will give me better coverage against the Vaporeon and Pidgeot if they switch in, which could be possible. He might want to preserve health on the Victini. So I think I am just going to swap Flash Cannon. The main thing that I had Flash Cannon for was the Bulu. And then I thought, oh, well, it's good neutral stab against a bunch of other stuff. But I have Technoblast anyways, which is going to hit stuff really hard. this isn't necessarily my late game winning condition either, right? Like, that's still the Young Mega. So, swapping Flash Cannon to Thunderbolt there. Just max special attack because I wanted to invest more in Technoblast and Flash Cannon, but now Thunderbolt. And then a little bit of attack investment to make sure that E-Speed can still pick some stuff off. Last but not least, my apologies, is Slowking. I'm just running a specially defensive Slowking. It should still handle Victini. Kind of, Bolt Strike is going to hurt a lot. But if it's special Victini, like I think it might be, he has some really good physical attackers, right? Like Bulu, Mamoswine, Conk. I feel like it would be special Victini to melt through tank growth faster. And so that's why I'm specking Spidef for Slowking, but also to check Pidgeot, which I just do not have an answer for. So this can switch into the Pidgeot. I'm not running Teleport because I wanted Toxic to wear down the Vaporeon. And then I've got Scald, Ice Beam being there for the Bulu. And Scald is just there for all the physical attackers. It might be worth running Surf over Scald so that I don't burn stuff. I don't know. Sort of in a weird position there. He could just be running like Toxic Heal Bell Vaporeon, but then he doesn't have room for Wish if he's Toxic and Heal Bell, so he wouldn't be able to take down Slowking before I manage to wear down, like, stall out all of his Heal Bells. In terms of what I'm not bringing, Kecleon is solid against Gengar, and it's okay against Jolteon. It's not the worst matchup for Kecleon in the world. Gyarados, I was talking about at one point and then dropped it. It's not really my favorite Mega to use this season. I don't think I've built well around it. It kind of just fit what I needed as a Dark type. If I could go back and redraft this, I would not draft Mega Gyarados, is what I'm saying. Garchomp is another curious one. Why am I not bringing Garchomp? Well, Bulu is the main reason, nerfing Earthquake against a very Earthquake-weak team. And then Mamoswine, him picking up Mamoswine to revenge kill Garchomp just makes way too much sense to me, right? So that is why I'm not bringing Garchomp. Otherwise, Scarf Garchomp would have been my pick. I think Vaporeon would have shut it down. I think Bulu having Grass Stream would shut it down a little bit. Unfortunately, a little bit too much for my liking. Thundy T is a good Jolteon answer. It's a semi-okay Pidgeot answer. The main reason you'd bring Thundy T in this matchup, in my opinion, is just to break through Vaporeon faster, and I don't think that breaking through Vaporeon any faster is really going to save me all that much time. It's more of his offense that I'm worried about than his defense. And then Hitmonchan, also okay this game. Not the best thing in the world, though. Low value tier mons sort of do that, and Yanmega is like underpriced and hopefully should overperform at that price. So that is the team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys for the match.